Hey guys, it's Ty,
And I'm Joe.
and we want to invite you on a journey of increasing your financial IQ.
By learning about strategies millionaires and billionaires have been using for decades.
Welcome to the Wise Wealth Podcast.
Let's get started.
So we're finally here. This is just going to be our intro to all of our listeners. So, Joe, do you want to begin with telling everybody like what we're about and kind of like what our goal is here with the Wise Wealth Podcast?
Sure. On behalf of Ty and I, we want to say welcome to everyone. And, our main goal is to provide education and to increase financial IQs. I love Robert Kiyosaki's quote when he says, the middle class of today has the opportunity to be the rich of tomorrow. But there's an if, Tyrone, there's a big if, and that's if they become educated. And so
Yeah.
we want to provide some education. There's nothing new under the sun. And so this is all from, books we've read and then the experiences we've had, the stories, stories are really are going to bring revelation. We're going to have different, people who are using the infinite banking concept. And that's what we're here to really share about, building wealth through infinite banking. And we're going to have some other strategies as well, but really focusing on the infinite banking concept, which is also known as cash flow banking, private family banking, bank on
Yes.
yourself. And so, but this to me is personally the most liberating financial tool I've ever seen. And it's not just for the ultra wealthy, Ty. Many people think, that's just for, the rich people, the billionaires out there, because they are using it, but we can
Yeah,
always
absolutely they are.
we can think like a billionaire. We don't have to be a billionaire to start utilizing this. We can think like millionaires and billionaires now, but we've got to take action. So, Ty, let's go ahead and just, share our stories, how we got introduced to this, how we got involved with this concept. And, why
Yeah.
don't you start first, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Again, welcome to everybody for tuning in. Either you're watching us on a platform or you're listening. Welcome to the show. My name is Tyrone Harvey. I am in Orlando, Florida, and I first heard about infinite banking from a friend of mine. He'll probably be a visitor on the show at some point, and he sent me a book, and it all started with one book. And that book was called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And we're going to highlight a couple books as we go through different conversations, but that book for me was absolutely life changing. And it's one of those, it's kind of, Joe, it's one of those books like when you read it, you feel like you had been lied to.
Yeah, so
For the first 30 years of my life, I'm like, oh, I'll just get a job. I'm going to put uh, a bunch of money into my savings account. I'll put money into a 401k and I will be able to ride off into the sunset in the future. And nobody ever told me about any of the risks of doing that. Like just, in this day and age, like right now, we're dealing with inflation. What happens to my money in my savings account? It gets a little less useful.
Mhm.
So for me, reading that book has been absolutely life changing. I cannot stop spreading the word about infinite banking or folks setting up their private family banks. My family has multiple of them, and I don't see a more useful tool, especially in this season. With inflation, what it is, what interest rates, what they are, I don't see a more useful tool to really set a solid foundation for a family's finances than infinite banking.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's great. So let's talk about your background, Ty.
yeah,
How did, where do you come from, profession, and, how you got to the point where you finally took action?
yeah. Great question. So I was born in New Jersey. We moved to Florida when I was 10. My family moved down here to Florida when I was 10. I went to school here at University High School in Orlando, Florida, and I played football at university. I was a weightlifter, won the state championship, was
Yeah.
captain of the football team.
For those of you who are watching,
Yes.
you could quad announced.
Yes. I still do a little working out, probably as you can see
Uh-huh.
to this day. It's just been a focal point of my life. I went on to play football at University of Central Florida, just played a year there, and then actually just jumped right into the career phase and
Mhm.
just started working. So
Yeah.
at the age of 18 years old, I went to the police academy. And anybody that knows some of the details about how you go to the police academy, you might say, there's no way that dude went to the police academy at 18 because you can't even get a law enforcement certificate at 18. But I did because I had a phone call that was called in for me. And I sat down and met with the director of the academy, and they interviewed me and they allowed me to go into the police academy
Wow.
at Valencia College at the age of 18. And it helped because before, like 2 or 3 weeks before the state test, I believe, I turned 19. So at 19, you can get a law enforcement certificate. So I became a cop at the age of 19, and I worked for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, worked for the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and then did a few years at the Orlando Police Department before I stopped. During that time, for about 13 years, I owned a commercial fitness facility as well.
It's
So
awesome.
I kinda worked full time and had a business, full time. So basically 2 full-time jobs kept me pretty busy.
That's
And I'll tell you what, Joe, one of the things that I kinda, like, kick myself for is like, "Man, how did I not know about this earlier?" Because as a business owner, having access to your own bank or the infinite banking concept, to have this set up in place for you is it would have been an absolute financial game changer in that season for me.
that's right.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have a lot of business owners, checking this out as well. So, yeah, people are looking for, especially in this economy, so many ways to save money. So, how to reduce, taxes to grow their money tax
Yes.
free. And a lot of people ask that question. We're going to get into that, in a specific podcast here soon. But how can you grow your money tax free? People like, is that even legal? Right.
Absolutely.
And
You know,
so,
that IRS code book was written for us.
yes.
It was actually written for us.
Yeah.
And this is one of those strategies that's in that book
Yeah.
that is to actually help us.
Yes. And what's crazy is insurance predates the tax code by, you know, how many years? Hundreds? Like,
Yeah.
so, but, my background, Ty, is I'm a former athlete as well. I was, going across the middle, catching slip screens, trying to dodge you big guys. I was a
Yeah.
receiver in Colorado, played at Western State, where Austin Eckler actually went, the Chargers running back. But I grew up in a military family, so praise God for all of our first responders and military that have served this country, the unrecognized heroes. My dad was a Green Beret, Special Forces Airborne Ranger. Got to meet General Grange. He was the leader of the Ranger Battalion, and he was my dad's captain. So uh, my dad was high speed special ops, and then my brothers were as well. 3 Army Rangers who are brothers.
Wow.
So I come from a military family. Was tough, played football, and I learned to be, have the mindset, which has helped me as an entrepreneur to have grit. Because any entrepreneur, you've got to know that it's not going to be easy. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely not.
there's always 4 stages of a dream when it comes to entrepreneurship or going for your dreams. The first one is the excited phase, and everyone's excited. But then quickly you hit that distress phase, and you're like, "This is harder than I thought it was." Uh, but growing up with a military family, I knew to press in, to grow, to learn, and hit that developmental phase, which will then lead you to the destination phase. And that phase says, "This is better than I even thought it was." And so, military family, which meant low. I mean, just barely getting by most of the times. We had a purple Toyota Corolla van rolling up to drop us off everywhere we went. I always tell my daughters, I'm like, listen, when we went to Taco Bell, girls, I didn't get to say, I want a number 5, no onions, Coke. It was, you're getting, you don't like onions.
That's it.
Uh, I never got to
Sure.
ask for food once growing up. So that taught me gratefulness though, right? And so, it's so funny because my girls are like, I want number 3, no mayo and tomato. I want like they, because I got girls, so they're all
I know. I know. My kids are the same
like,
way. They're pretty picky about the food.
so, I love my girls though so much. I love being a girl dad, but, So I grew up, living in Colorado, never went skiing once. Why? Because we couldn't afford it. People like, oh, you grew up in the mountains, you must be a skier. No,
Yes.
no, but we played sports, and my dad, took the early retirement. So he got to coach and be in my life. I'm forever grateful for that. But my dad always said, go to school. Like, I want you to be the first one to get your degree. I want you to be the first one, to get your education. And I did that. And so that's what was hammered into me. Go to school, get a job. I went to school, became a teacher, became a head coach in my second year, coaching in Texas. But we were broke. I mean, we were broke,
Yeah.
busted, and disgusted. Did everything the world said: go to college, get a degree, got married. But then here I am taking money from my wife's parents just to pay our bills. Like,
Wow.
we couldn't even afford to live with a child on a teaching salary. Like, it was every month, you know, getting helped out by my wife's parents. Um, and even was on government assistance at one time. And,
Okay.
but then, we got introduced to a business in network marketing and just took off, Ty. We made $89,000 our first year, 180 the second year, 200 the third year, made over 1 million the fifth year. So just kept growing, growing, growing. But low financial IQ with a lot of money causes some problems. Tax problems was the first one.
You're right. You got a tax bill that's coming.
Like, there's rich people problems and there's poor people problems. There's rich people
Yeah.
problems when I couldn't even afford clothes other than my teaching. That's all I wore was a teaching, coaching hat, school I coached at. I remember when I got my first paycheck in business, I went to TJ Maxx and I'm like, I had the cart of $500 worth of clothes.
All the stuff. Yeah.
But so we started making money, but we got into trouble because we didn't know it. We didn't like now. I mean, now we know we have a wealth strategist. We know how, not only do we have a wealth strategist, we have infinite banking. We know how to, save with taxes, grow our money tax free. Um, and so, but that's my background from teaching to coaching to started as an entrepreneur in network marketing and now doing some other stuff. And so, but basically that's kind of our backgrounds. And now let's talk about how we got into, how, what was the first time we heard about infinite banking and maybe the first time we actually heard about it and then actually applied it? Because I always say there's a big difference, and Andy Andrews says, there's a big difference between being intentional and having good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Because, what about you? When's the first time you heard about this? But then what did it do to click for you?
Yeah. Like I said, the first time I heard about it was when a buddy of mine, both of ours, a buddy of ours, he sent me a book, mapping out the millionaire mystery. That was literally the first time that I recall ever hearing about it. Is it possible that I heard that name before, infinite banking or a private bank? Possibly. It's possibly I heard about it before, but to my recollection, this was the first time ever hearing about it was with the mapping out the millionaire mystery book.
Mhm.
And it was, "Hey, Tyrone, you gotta check this out. Just, it's an awesome read, super easy read." And it was one of those, "Hey, once you get started reading it, you're not gonna wanna put it down."
Yep.
And I've completely honest with you, I'm not a huge reader, but when it comes to, I guess, whatever you wanna call them, these informational books, self-help books, love them, love them. This particular book, it's actually I actually got that one right here,
There you
Mapping Out
go.
the Millionaire Mystery. This particular book, I couldn't put it down. It
Yeah.
was so exciting to me to read it
Yeah.
and see the strategies, and it was example after example after example after example. And
Mhm.
kinda like as I said earlier, I kinda had an epiphany and I was like, "Wow,
Mhm.
this is absolutely amazing. Like,
Yeah.
how do I not have this yet?"
Yeah.
So fast forward now, I work for a great firm. We work together um, at DFG,
Mhm.
and this is what we do for a living now.
Yeah.
This is our bread and butter. This is what we specialize in structuring properly structured, high cash value, infinite banking.
Yeah.
And for me, my family, the first person to get it in the family was my daughter,
That's awesome.
my 8-year old.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
We were talking about how those those
Yeah.
daughters from 8.
People are probably like, "Wait," and if we've been just to be, like, super basic, infinite banking at the core is just it's a properly structured, high cash value life insurance policy.
That's right. Yeah.
And, yeah, absolutely, my 8-year-old daughter has her own life insurance policy,
Yep. You know what
and
we're
so
gonna
does
do
my
for our
son, and
years.
so does my wife.
Yeah. Our girls, it's gonna be, I've got weddings to pay for. You're gonna
Right.
have
Yeah.
it's I've got a lot more weddings to pay for than you. So this is gonna be
I
for
got
us.
1, you got it. You've got 2 girls or 3?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
We have 4 in our house, but I have 5.
wow.
So I've got 5 weddings
Wow.
before. So this is gonna be for us, we're gonna have a specific podcast of why infinite banking is a much better route than a 529. But
Yes.
for me,
That's gonna be a huge podcast.
this is gonna be
That's
our
I'm so
wedding
passionate
gift.
about that.
This
Yeah.
is gonna be our wedding gift to our daughters, when they get married to, whether you wanna use this for a house, use this for your wedding, use this for vehicles, whatever. So, but, and I love what
What
you said.
about
Go ahead.
yeah, what about you? When did you first hear about, this private banking or infinite banking? When was the first time that you recall, when did you hear about it?
First time for me was, 2016. We were leaders
Okay.
in a direct sales company, but, praise God that I went outside for leadership training for my first, because the company did a great job of like training you, but it's like they almost didn't want you to like go outside for like to hear others, world class trainers and speakers in entrepreneurship. And finally, I got out of that thinking, and I'm like, man, let me get outside this box, and let me. So it was actually a Christian business. It was a Christian business conference I went to.
Okay.
I forget what it was called, but I spent $500 to go to this training. I was at kind of in my business. I was kind of stuck. I hadn't grown, and hadn't been rank advancements in like a couple years, and so I was like, man, I need to get new thinking, right? I need to change perspective, and so I went to this Christian business conference, and it was all about entrepreneurship, um, and then he mentioned the Rockefellers, and there's a book called "What Would the Rockefellers Do?" I think they actually had them change the name. What would the family had them change the name to? What
Right.
would
Yeah.
billionaires
I
do?
heard that.
But he mentioned like he was like, you need to change the way you're thinking about money. You need to change the way you're thinking about entrepreneurship. And remember, he said something in this business. He said, "You want to know the best thing to do is to help you in entrepreneurship." He said, "Here's what we do to our clients: we take them somewhere in a city, we drop them off, and we say, pretend that you're homeless. And by the end of the night, don't be."
Okay. That's
And said you would start solving some problems. You would buy some cleaning supplies, at the Dollar General, and go to gas stations and say, "Hey, can I clean your bathroom for $20?" And how many, he just gave
you
all
would
these
figure
examples.
you would figure it out,
You
right?
would
Yeah.
figure stuff out. But in this conference, very briefly, he talked about cash flow banking and infinite banking and what they do to grow money tax free, and how true entrepreneurs are wise stewards of every penny God has entrusted you with. But I had good intentions. See, that's the difference. I was like, oh, yeah, that's really great. I'm going to read up on that, and I'm going to go home. And I'm telling you, man, we had so much money coming in. And I even made a post the other day about how many times we went to Disney World, 3 times a year, staying there, and like,
Yeah.
doing all that, that's all hindsight. But I'm not saying we couldn't have fun too, but so that was when I heard about it and I had good intentions. But when I got intentional was when we lost the business. We put all our eggs in one basket, and
Okay.
I'm never doing that again. You know, I'm never doing that again. And if anyone's listening and you want some advice, as far as multiple streams of income, for one, that's biblical. But I have never been as serious as, expanding my financial portfolio to at least 5 streams as I am today. Because when you put all your eggs in one basket, you'll quickly learn that I need to diversify. But after losing that business, books are important, but books at the right time are life changing. Because after losing that business, I read that book, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery.
Okay.
So after that, that's when I said, I'm going to expand my financial portfolio. And the number one thing I'm going to do is pay myself first through infinite banking. And I'm going to recapture all these dollars that are just hitting my bank account and leaving and paying everyone else. It's time to pay myself first, and it's time to start growing wealth. And so that's when I started implementing it, was after we had lost the business, because I told myself, fool me once, but you're never going to fool me again. Like, we are going to be wise stewards and we are going to build wealth. And I may not be making as much money right now as I once was. Now that will come. And praise the Lord, it is, with what we have coming now. But, that's when I really got intentional of implementing it, was after losing that business. And then someone sewed that book into me, and so much inspiration, so much hope. So that's kind of my story there.
I I found that, a lot of times people don't exactly want to search for answers or search for ways to do things better
Mhm.
until they've experienced great pain.
That's right. It's good.
And that was the case for me. Like, you know, I've gone through great financial pain before. And it wasn't until that occurred to say, "Hey, I'm never doing that again." That burned me.
Yep.
Bad, consumer debt, having to file a bankruptcy before, like, all those things are completely they cause great pain, and you remember them for years and years and years because it sets you back.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where, hey, that was very painful. You're not doing that anymore. And then your financial IQ, you're gonna search for things like, hey, how do I progress, but progress the proper way? And infinite banking is one of those safe ways to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've found with so many people, a lot of times they just don't want to hear about these strategies until
Mhm.
they've experienced great pain. And I think that's probably one of the biggest goals for myself is for those people out there that are not experiencing great pain, or, the inflation is
Mhm.
kind of not something that is very painful to them or they're struggling through.
Mhm.
This is still useful for them because they can get even farther ahead
Mhm.
by implementing these strategies. This isn't just for the ultra wealthy, like you said earlier,
Mhm.
but this is for people that that are just like that middle class as well.
That's right.
If they're struggling with their bills, you can implement this because it's scalable. You don't have to put, thousand, $10,000 a month
Yeah.
into these things.
Yeah.
It could be 25 or $50.
Yeah. Yeah. We say, don't think premiums, think deposits, right? Like, what are
Yeah.
you, what it's, cause it's like a savings account on steroids is really what it is, so
Yeah.
what are
I
you,
like to I use the word funding. I like, "Hey, we're funding, what are you funding into your private bank this year?"
yeah.
That's why, I look at it like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe next week we can get into the nuts and bolts of, because people have questions like, really, what is, like, how does it work? I don't have,
Well,
give
that's
me
that's
some.
what we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna
Yeah.
be diving in all those things, but
Yeah.
I guess, Joe, when you first heard about infinite banking, what was the number one thing that just pick one, you gotta pick one.
Oh,
And there's so many I know, I know. When you talk about infinite banking, you're like, "Oh, I gotta pick one thing that I like about it." Like, what was the one thing or that first thing that you heard that was just it, like, hit you in the chin, you're like, "How do I not know about this?" Or, how I have not implemented this just yet?" Can you think of one?
well, I can't think of one, but I've gotta say, there's a book called The And Asset, and that's why it is so
Yes.
powerful, because of all the assets. If I had just to pick one, I would say steady Eddie, guaranteed tax-free growth. Um,
Now,
yeah.
well, so tax-free growth. So you
Mm.
said steady Eddie, what does that mean for folks that may not know what that means?
Yeah. So basically, when we're talking about steady growth, insurance companies, do a whole lot more than, collect premium and pay death benefit. These are some of the
Right.
most savvy investors. For example, Tyrone and I, we work for Duval Financial, but we contract we're brokers. So we can shop any, and, over
Anywhere.
200
Hundreds,
anywhere,
hundreds, yeah.
hundreds. And so someone just asked me yesterday, like why would we choose you, Joe, as in your firm as opposed to someone else? And I mean, there's a lot of to go with that. But for one, this is what we specialize in, Tyrone, because this is who we are, and this is not just what we do. This is who we are. Like this is our main play. And many people don't realize that insurance agents, we get paid, 18, almost 18 times more on the death benefit, right, than we do
Yeah.
the cash value. But if you guys are if someone is structuring this right for you, they've got to be know what they're doing, because one of our mentors, he read the book, went to someone, right, and we're going to have his story on here one day. He said, "Hey, I want to do this. Can you structure me a high cash value policy?" 5 years later, he goes to, take money out and he's got no money because the guy didn't know what he was doing, right? And so, but
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. That was one of the options, or there's the flip side of that. He knew what he was
he knew what he's
doing,
doing and he gave
and he
himself.
wasn't keeping the client and,
Yeah,
the client's best interest in mind.
exactly.
So
So
there's some of that out there.
there's some of that out there, but basically, the one thing I love about it is the tax free, and it's why, back to answer the question, how's it steady, is because, well, it's guaranteed 3% plus dividends, and our
Guaranteed.
guaranteed. See, the stock market, they can't guarantee you. Like even Vegas, you can go gamble and they actually have to give you the odds of,
Yeah.
you know,
Slim to none.
odds. But Wall Street doesn't even give you the odds. So it's
No.
even, in my opinion, it's worse than gambling, it's, you have
Right.
no idea, but it's 3% plus dividend at our company that we're partnering with right now, who've got great loan features and just great high cash value, great product this for infinite banking. They've paid a dividend, Ty, back to back to their shareholders. They paid a dividend for over 150 years straight. That's World War One, World War Two, the Great Depression, the crash of '08, COVID. And so talking about steady Eddie, always growing. So, but
So just so we're clear, what you said, through every economic downturn
yes,
that you
every
can think
single
of, that
economic
for
downturn,
us that are alive right now, every economic downturn that you can think of, they actually have paid out
a dividend,
growth,
a growth
dividend.
every single year. How many companies can say that for this long? So, like,
I
I had
guess
a,
it's safe to put your money there.
yeah, I had a client last week said, "Listen, I'm just don't lose me money, Joe. Like I'm down
Easy.
25%. Like I'm done with the stock market. I'm done with the volatility. I just want to put my money somewhere where I don't want to lose, because it's growth is important, but what's more important is the money I keep." And so, but I would say the tax-free growth is powerful for me, Ty, but more important than anything is all those together. It's like, not only do you have tax-free growth, but you've got great loan features, right?
Okay.
Um, great loan features. You've got this giant death benefit that you're going to leave to your family. Leave a legacy. You know, those are just some of the things that you're able to you just. I mean, think about that. All those together, leaving a legacy. The
Yes.
the tax free growth is powerful. The liquidity of it. The liquidity of it, that you have it day one access to a large percentage of your money, is powerful. What about you, bro?
Yeah. And what you said there, it is very hard to pick just one thing
Hmm.
that is your favorite, because
Yeah.
it just stacks the cards in your favor.
Hmm.
When you have one of these, that's got to be, for one, it's got to be set up properly.
Yep.
And you said, got to talk about this really quick. You said a large amount of liquidity in the first year,
Yep.
meaning you're funding your policy with whatever you're putting into it, and you're able to actually remove funds in the first year.
Yep. Yep.
If it's not structured properly, you can't do that, can you?
No. No.
I
Can't
have
do.
a client right now that I'm working with, and he said, "Can you take a look at my paperwork?" And I looked at it, and he thought that he was in, potentially an infinite banking style uh, policy, and it was a different. It wasn't permanent insurance. and he's got little to no cash value, and he's 2 years in,
Wow.
2
Yeah.
years in,
Yeah.
and
Half
the
the time.
basically 80% of the funds that he's put into it are unavailable.
Mm. Not properly, well, it's
No,
properly structured,
not yeah,
overfunded permanent life insurance policy. You've got to have all those in place. And I know
right.
people do these with IULs. We we prefer not to, Ty, just
Yeah,
because the IULs, they
and
illustrate wonderful, but 100 times out of 100, you and I both know that those never go the way people will illustrate
a
them.
and just so we're completely clear, the infinite banking created by Nelson Nash has nothing to do with an IUL.
Mm,
Nelson
correct.
Nash is the creator of the entire infinite banking concept, and it specifically states that this is not to be done with an IUL.
Yeah.
It's with permanent insurance.
Yeah.
Why? Because of your favorite thing, like the guarantees, the
Yeah.
steady Eddie about it.
Guarantees.
So for me, when I was reading through the features and like how I could use this in my financial picture, I love the fact that there is nothing else out there that you can use the same dollar twice.
Wow. That's good. Recapturing those
They
dollars.
kinda call it like the double play
Yeah.
investment or, basically it's a double play. So, you're putting this private family bank in between your investments. So you're funding your
Correct.
infinite banking policy, your private bank, you fund the bank, and then you remove the funds through something that's called the loan feature.
Mhm.
So you're loaning yourself those funds that you put into it, and then you deploy those funds into a business, an
Yeah.
investment. If
Hero.
you're going to be private lender, you can lend those funds to somebody. And what's happening is inside of your private bank, you're getting that guaranteed growth, your favorite feature, you're getting the guaranteed growth. And then you're getting the growth from the investment that you made, the
Correct.
business that you started, the interest rate on the funds that you lent out.
Correct.
You're getting the growth there.
Come
So
on.
it's the same dollar,
That's right.
but it's in 2 places at the same time.
Is it a get
So
rich quick?
the double play is
Yeah.
it's my favorite feature
You're right.
about the infinite banking policy.
So it's not a get rich quick deal.
No,
Not.
you know,
It's becoming a wise
so
steward and being more efficient, right?
anybody that's listening to this, this is not going to turn you into a millionaire next year.
That's right.
Unless you put $1,000,000 into one, then
Yeah.
I
Which I
But
have
this is not
seen.
something this is not something that's gonna turn you into a millionaire.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put $100 a month into,
Mhm.
uh, a private bank, and it's gonna turn you into a millionaire next year.
Mm.
Over time, as you embrace this concept, the strategies that we're gonna be unpackaging in
Mhm.
our upcoming podcasts, as you embrace those and you build on those year in and year out, this is definitely a long-term strategy, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome, Ty. Well, what do you want to leave the people with this week? We just want to say we're so humbled and blessed
yeah,
that you guys took the time to join us on this journey. One of the reasons why we even started this is because, when Ty, asked me and we've been helping clients and he said, what do you think about doing a podcast? And I said, well, I saw a cool meme recently. It said, oh, well, it said basically, well, you tried to figure out your logo. A dumb guy started a business. So I
So what
said,
do? We gave ourselves a deadline and we said, "Hey, we're starting a podcast and we're recording on
"Hey."
this day,
Yeah.
and we're
So
gonna
people out
here
there
from here
putting
on
out
out. Here we go."
people are out there putting out content. Why not us? And I want to encourage you and say, why not you? If God's given you dreams and He's given you talents and He's given you it, because all this starts this bubbling up from a passion deep down inside of us. I
Yeah,
think we'll end there. What's your passion, Ty? Because what is your passion for doing this? What do you why are you here and what do you want the people to really, take from this?
yeah. For me, I've seen through the years in law enforcement, through the gym years, I've seen people struggle with financial pain.
Mm,
Finances is one of the top 2 reasons for top 3 reasons I believe for divorce. So I'm very passionate about having people be intentional about their finances.
mm,
And not knowing about this can be painful. Like I
mhm,
said, for me, not not implementing this earlier in my life, for me, there's a little pain point there.
Yeah.
People can use this for retirement as well.
Hmm.
Real quick, in 2008, when I was in law enforcement, I saw people that had given their entire life to a community in a high risk job. They've risked their bodies. They've had injuries. They've been shot. They've lost coworkers in law enforcement.
Mm.
And it got to 2008, and these are people that put in 25 and 30 years, 30 plus years in law enforcement,
Wow.
and they were forced to stay and work longer because their retirement accounts
Wow.
tanked
Yep.
due to the 2008.
Happens all the time.
So for me, I don't want that to happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in a high risk, profession, you shouldn't have to have the market tell you when you can retire. You shouldn't have to have interest rates tell you when you retire. Inflation shouldn't tell you when you retire.
Yeah.
These infinite banking policies can definitely be used as a retirement tool as well. So
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about people just being intentional about it. And I want more people to find out about these strategies that I didn't know about when I was younger.
Correct.
What about you, Joe?
Well, what you said is I'm proud of you for going against the grain. Andy Andrews, my favorite author, you'll hear me reference him a lot. He says, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you want to have success in life, find out what everyone is doing and go the opposite direction, you know?
Right. Exactly.
And people have some, Dave Ramsey's one of them. People have some negative things to say. We're going to address those and
Absolutely.
help you have not teach you how to think or teach you what to think, but teach you how to think and have the right perception. But for me, my passion is simple. I was very arrogant, when we started making money. I thought that we knew everything. I thought, the business I was in was the best business ever. And, this was, it honestly became an idol, and
Right.
I cling to that. Um, and I always say, anything less than God will let you down. So for me, uh, that's my number one priority. But as far as being a wise steward, I let my family down. The last time I had all my eggs in one basket, I wasn't paying myself first. So for me, like I said, the timing of that book, so much, hope arose in me. But then I had the thinking, man, there's so many other people that are making the same financial mistakes that I did. And I remember in that last business, there was a handful of people that were utilizing the infinite banking strategies and systems.
Right.
And when our business fell apart, those individuals, they all had smooth transitions. I mean, there are people that literally lost homes, lost marriages, lost everything. But here's the one thing that those individuals, they didn't do that I said, I'm going to do. And that was shouted from the rooftops of what infinite
Yeah.
banking is.
You got to
Whether
help teach others, right?
Yeah, whether I'm on a business trip, whether I'm on vacation, whether I'm just like asking them, hey, what are you doing to build wealth? And that's what we're asking you guys right now. Hey, what are you guys doing to build wealth? And why not take a look at this proven strategy that the ultra wealthy have been using for centuries? So that is my main passion, to help people not, walk through what we walk through, and, to be wise and learning from, other people's mistakes and implementing it, and, just, letting people be in the know about it. Cause that's the first
Yep.
battle is, do I know about it or not? So hopefully this, is just letting you know that, hey, this is a proven system and strategy that is not just for the ultra wealthy, that you can start now. Boom.
Awesome. Yeah.
Man, we're right on
And either
time.
way,
40-minute mark.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I think that's good. I
Yeah.
guess we'll cut it
Hey,
there. That's it for this
bless
week.
you guys. Thanks for joining us on the Wise Wealth Podcast. Tune in next week. We're going to have a great, great podcast and really get into some nuts and bolts. You guys can always
Yeah.
email us your questions, send us your questions, and we'll address those in the upcoming podcasts. But from Ty and Joe, we want to say bless you guys. Thanks for joining us.
All right. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
If you would like more individual information on infinite banking or retirement account solutions, Joe and Ty would be glad to connect with you individually. Please email us at info@wisewealthpodcast.com, or you may visit us at our website at wisewealthpodcast.com and contact us there.